Hi, witches.
Hey, witches.
Welcome to week 5 of the Beginner Witch series. Okay, so this week the topic is magic ingredients. And so to me, magic ingredient is pretty much anything that you can find in nature. From dirts and rocks to plants and leaves and sticks to more exotic things like fruits, vegetables, spices, minerals, all of that. I think I've told you before, the power is in the witch. The power is not in the things. It's not in the rose petals that you might collect. It's not in the sage or whatever.
I love how you're like, wait, what is that again?
Like, I'm sorry, dried something or another that I collected. Now I'm trying. Did I
Maybe
write
it's
on
not.
it?
Is it basil?
It might be
It's
basil.
probably basil.
It's not in that. It's not in, it's not in these things. The power is in you guys. It's in us as witches. But what these ingredients do is they all have magical associations or properties or correspondences, and they all have energy from the earth. And so from that, we can enhance or elevate or raise the vibration of any spells or magic work or just daily rituals or anything that we're doing. So that's number one. The power's in the witch. Remember that. I was thinking about this today. So does anybody remember being a little kid and having really wanting the Barbie dream house or the Cabbage Patch Kid or the Easy Bake Oven? You just wanted it so bad. You just wished for it. Or do you remember that? Or if you were ever in a religion, do you remember praying for something that you wanted really badly? The way that I see witchcraft is very similar to either one of those, where that was your intention when you were wishing for that Barbie dream house or that Cabbage Patch Kid or whatever it was. You were putting that energy out into the universe and and without knowing it, trying to draw that to you. And that's the same. I believe that's what witchcraft is like. We think these things, we put that energy out there, and with the intent of drawing it to us. So the power is in you.
I'm gonna add on to that really quick. This is so funny because I just had this conversation with a new witch the other day, where she's like, I wish I was manifesting more. I wish I practiced manifesting more. And the correction there is, you are always manifesting. Every time you think something, that is the energy level that you're vibrating throughout. Things that vibrate on that same level are going to come back to you. That's the whole basis behind doing spells and rituals, is that you put yourself in a vibration that then brings those things to you. So that goes along with the ingredients. If you have lots of oranges around you, that's considered a success fruit. You'll bring in more success. That's a very small notion for it, but I wanted to add that in because literally synchronicity. I just had this conversation the other day with manifesting. You're always manifesting. It's up to you what you're going to bring into your life and what your thoughts are.
Well, so how closely is manifesting and law of intentions? I think we had this discussion too last week about law of attraction, rather, like what you think you attract, the thoughts in your head bring on. If you're fearful, if you're negative, if you have negative thoughts, you're going to draw negative energy to you. This is not hocus pocus or whatever. This is a fact. This is quantum physics.
This is quantum physics.
This is quantum physics.
This is science.
This is science.
Witchcraft is now backed by science, which I love because I'm both. I'm a super nerdy science person. So if you understand quantum, you understand why spells and manifestation work. That's it.
Okay, so we've covered the powers in the witch, all things in nature. I believe everything in nature, from the dirt under our feet to the trees and everything else that Mother Nature gives us on this earth, has magical properties.
Everything physical has a vibration. Every single thing. You can test that. That's science again. So that makes every single thing that's physical has a vibration towards an energy and a focus and a what it vibrates the same as, which the easiest thing to say is like orange and success. You can find that in many cultures around the world, that oranges equal success. So that's why they know that. They had them around and they were always successful. So oranges vibrate at that same level of bringing in success.
Okay, so this is, y'all, these are eggshells. Okay, and I was saving the eggshells, and I had to ask my daughter because I wasn't thinking. I'm getting better at thinking intuitively, which is where I want to, which is one of the places I'm going tonight with this conversation. Because I asked Jayme, what are eggshells used for? She's protection. So, and today I was peeling a couple of hard-boiled eggs for breakfast, and all of a sudden I realized I'm looking at the egg and I'm peeling away this shell, and I'm like, what was this shell used for? This shell was used to protect the egg. So hello, eggshells, protection. You know,
light bulb moment.
I had a light bulb moment. I really did. And I think, as like I said, I'm a newer witch. Jayme's been doing this a really long time, and she's got so much knowledge. It's really awesome. But you know, for me, it's like I'm learning. I'm kind of where a lot of you probably are. It's like I'm trying to absorb, and there's so much to absorb. But if we can start to try to think on an intuitive level about things, like just look at them, like, what do you think garlic is? What do you know, what does it sound like? You know, we already know garlic's used for vampires, so there's protection, right? I mean, that's like, I don't know, folklore or whatever, but garlic truly is a protective herb.
Okay, so I don't think of vampires, but you guys, if you don't want somebody to kiss you, eat a bunch of garlic. If somebody else has garlic mouth, you don't want to kiss them. So you can term it in other things too, but what it means for you. Have you ever eaten a piece of raw garlic? It's actually pretty hot. And you're like, oh,
it is hot.
This is interesting. Why is my mouth on fire? This isn't a pepper, but it has that same like heat to it. So garlic can be used for spells that you want to quicken them, make them hotter, add, strangely enough, passion or something, but also as protection from it. So yeah,
okay.
The garlic thing is so funny.
I have garlic with me tonight because it was one of the things that I was going to talk about. Like, what can you do with garlic? How can you use garlic in a spell? Before I get into ingredients specifically and what you're going to do for one of your exercises this week, I want to talk about homework. If you've been here before, you know I try to give you an assignment. So we're actually practicing and doing something. Okay, so since I'm going to assume that many of you are new, or either very new, or you just, you know, you're dabbling. I mean, I don't know where everybody is because unfortunately we don't get the opportunity for introductions here, which, by the way, since I said that, I have to plug our Facebook page.
Oh, yes.
Our Facebook group, rather, not our page.
Yeah, the group.
We have a new Witches Meetup Facebook group where we can talk about these kind of things and introduce ourselves. And thank you to all of the people who have joined and introduced yourself and shared your story.
Yeah.
We love you. It's great to get to know you on that level because we don't get to do that here. Okay. What I was going to say was this. As a new witch, you may not know really where you want to take your practice. So you may just be you may just be absorbing, learning things, researching, gathering information, reading a book, coming here to learn, but you really don't know where it's going to take you. Maybe you're going to read tarot. Maybe you're going to do palmistry. Maybe you're going to do spells. You may be a witch that never does a spell. That's okay. You know, just because you're a witch doesn't mean you have to cast a spell. You can, however, take magical ingredients and just use them in your daily life. So, as an example, in the morning when you make your tea or coffee and you stir your coffee and you add cinnamon to it and as you stir with intention and you think about what you want. Maybe you have a mantra that you say, like, what do you want? What's your day going to be? What do you want to accomplish that day? How do you want that day to come out? When you make your family food at night, you know, when you're making the dinner, what do you want? Peace and harmony and love. And so as you add ingredients, this is the intention. This is where the power of the witch comes in. You add your intentions to things. So even if you never plan to do a spell, or you don't know if you're ever going to do a spell, you can still take the ingredients that we have, or the magical, all of that Mother Nature has to offer us, and you can use them in ways that bring magic into your life and bring positivity into your life and manifest your intentions.
It's just doing it with purpose.
Doing it with purpose.
As you do it, don't make it mindless. Don't have your mind wander going to other things. Do it with the intention of, or purposeful for I'm creating this thing because I'm creating this thing for. And it's as simple as that. Making that run over and over in your mind, that's sort of a mantra when you repeat something over and over. That's imbuing the thing you're doing, the pie, the mashed potatoes, the salad, whatever it is, with that energy. And when you serve it, smile at that. Know that you're serving them something that's like, I'm serving them with this energy and intention of, you know, a peaceful night's sleep or a happy evening or good conversation if you're having a party or something. So
Yeah.
it's a way to add it into there. And nobody will know.
Nobody will know that you're practicing witchcraft.
I'm like, my mom just makes a damn good salad. It just tastes really good.
Okay, so if you haven't guessed by now, magic is all around us, and we need to look no further than the spice cabinet in our kitchens. And this is going to be one of your exercises this week. So you don't need very many ingredients to cast a spell or to create a spell. And when I say cast a spell, we're going to actually do this in a couple of weeks. We're going to do a couple of different types of spells, if you will. So one of the things you might start thinking about, especially if you're brand new, is when you think about doing a spell, what comes to mind for you? Because this is a personal journey. And whatever it is that you want to do is okay. You know, you can go out to the beach like Jayme does, pack up all of her stuff, go out to the beach with your candles and your incense and your crystals and your tarot and set a circle. For me, I'm going to create a spell jar. So one of the things I did this weekend was I went to the dollar store and I bought these little jars. They're little jelly jars. You don't have to buy jars. You can save them from your kitchen, but I'm going to make spells. So when we come to this exercise in a couple of weeks, the way that I'm going to do this is to create a spell jar. You might want to do that too. We can talk about that later. And the other thing about was just little candles. So you don't have to spend a bunch of money with witchcraft. You might have to spend a little bit, or you just go in your kitchen and find some stuff to use. And you could put it in a satchel. You could make a little thing that you sew it in. You can put it in a little bag. There's all kinds of ways that you could put ingredients together, put your intentions with those, and then carry that around with you, put it under your pillow. And when I give you what these herbs are noted for or associated with in terms of spell work, it's not an inclusive list. They could have like basil as an example, protection and luck. That's not the only thing basil is known for.
It's known for a lot.
It's known for a lot of different things. And in fact, Jayme has a book, and it's in, she has a recommendation because she loves this book. And by the way, y'all, if I haven't mentioned this already, there is a link in tonight's meetup to our Google Drive, which has the lesson for tonight and contains the information that we're talking about, including that book recommendation. We haven't done book recommendations yet, but I think especially for this, as you're getting going and you're starting to kind of collect the things that you might want next week, next month, next year to build spells with, I think a book of herbs is like a really good thing to do. You can also just research it on the internet. But anyway, where was I? Basil, love and protection. Bay leaves, abundance, prosperity, success, protection, psychic abilities, money. So across the board there with bay leaves. The great thing one of the things that I love about bay leaves is they've got this flat surface. And so you can write on them. You can write a word on them to put in your spell or put with your spell. Cinnamon, love, libido, protection, blessings. Cinnamon's so awesome. Like put this stuff in it.
Everything.
Put it in everything. Basically, like stir it into your coffee every day and make an intention, have a mantra.
You just need a little.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. So cinnamon, happiness, health, money, fertility, luck. Cumin, did I say that right?
Cumin, yeah.
Cumin, protection, garlic. We already talked about garlic. Protection and luck. Ginger. This is ginger you buy at the store. The weird looking plants.
It's a ginger root. Mom.
It's a ginger root.
Ginger root.
Do you have to dry that before you put it in a spell?
No.
Okay. All right.
You can use fresh.
It smells really good. Protection and luck. Jade. Okay, so now I've switched from spices to like a plant that you might have in your house. Jade, prosperity and luck. Oregano. We're back in the spice cabinet in the kitchen. You guys, if you're scribbling, please don't, because I've got this all in the notes, so you don't have to write this all down. But Oregano, love, fertility, health, luck. Rosemary, which I grow and have dried. Rosemary and basil, both I have been successfully grown and dried. Rosemary, protection, roses. Okay, you guys, don't ever, if you have not started doing this, if you ever get flowers, please don't ever, ever, ever throw them away again. Dry them. I just got some yellow flowers from a nice gentleman in Texas a couple of weeks ago, and I'm drying them so that I can use them. And I have, my son sends me flowers every year, and I have a whole bunch of, where'd my rose petals go? I have a whole bunch of rose petals that I store and keep those. So those are great for, love, any kind of love spells, passion spells, friendship even, or self-love. Sage, imagine this, wisdom, protection, cleansing, and overcoming grief. Salt. Oh my gosh, is this the most common thing that you have in your kitchen is salt?
Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper.
Okay, so salt, protection and purification. And vanilla, this is going to be the end of my list for tonight, because these are like, you probably have most of these ingredients in your spice cabinet right now. Vanilla, self-love, romantic love, and friendship. Okay, so that was quick list of what I think. I put all my spices behind me, but you guys don't need me to show you bottles of a spice to know what the heck cumin is or garlic is or whatever.
Well, and I think what's interesting, as you read the list, like if you think about oregano and what that goes into, Italian food. When you imagine Italian food and sitting down, eating it, where do you picture yourself? What do you picture yourself doing? Or when that food was made and what the culture, that what they do when they sit down to eat. I mean, that's like love and family and health and like bringing people together. So being able to, when she was talking about intuitively going back to these things, like how do I match that? How do I remember it without memorization?
Yeah.
And if you think about what oregano goes into, it's that. And then cumin, which is like, I put so much cumin in my chilies because I absolutely love the flavor of cumin, and it's for protection. A chili, the basis of what a stew was something to get you through the winter. That's what they made to survive. It was a stew of some kind that was made with very little ingredients that could be spread across a multitude of people. So protection against the cold, protection from famine, protection from, whatever. But that's human being protection is awesome for that, because I definitely feel warm and cozy and like very secure when I'm eating chili.
Well, it's so funny that you say that about stews. Like, stews were cheap to make, and they went a long way, which is why when I was growing up in a family of 6 kids, we had to eat stroganoff all the time. And I will not eat it to this day. I will not eat beef stroganoff because we had to eat that so much when I was a kid. I was like, anyway,
because it went on for days.
I mean, I think that's all I ate was beef stroganoff and peanut butter and jelly, which I still like peanut butter and jelly because at least there's some variety there. But good Lord, beef stroganoff, like, oh. Anyway, I just can't. God bless my mother. She had to feed 6 kids on she was a housewife, and my dad was, pretty young engineer at General Dynamics, so he probably didn't make a lot of money. But anyway, 6 kids is a lot of mouths to feed. So, okay. So now I'm going to talk about some ways to use a couple of the ingredients that I mentioned. So salt. Oh my gosh, you guys, salt is so diverse. Of course, it's readily available. It's inexpensive, and you can use it it's technically not a spice. It's a mineral. It represents the earth. It's of the earth. It's an element of the earth. So if you're doing an altar, and we talked about altars a couple weeks ago, you can use salt as a representation for earth. One of the things I do is I put my salt out in the full moon light. If you're worried about it getting damp, it doesn't actually have to be outside in the full moon. You can put it in a windowsill. So a year or so ago, we had a blue moon. I think it was on Halloween, and I put a bunch of salt in a container and charged that. So I've got this like blue moon charged salt. So charge your salt if you want to for added, for more powerful, to make it more powerful. You can add salt to your bath for energy, protection and cleansing, energy healing, protection and cleansing. You can put salt in a spray bottle, mix salt and water, and then mist to remove negative energies in your house. When I moved into this house, Jayme came over and we did a salt circle around my whole entire property here for protection. So I love that. That was like really cool. You can take and you can sprinkle salt in the corners of each of the rooms in your house to remove unwanted energy. You can do it in just one room. Like, let's say you have people over and you just want to clear the energy of your house so that, you know, people coming into your house, they leave that negative energy outside that door. So many uses for salt, so inexpensive to use. And of course, you could use it in spells, but these are just ways that you could use salt every day. So
I'm going to add a slight little like nerd tip here, or like nerd knowledge. I don't know how many people live up north, like near Michigan-ish, like up in that area. But did you know that underneath, okay, keyword, underneath Lake Michigan is one of the largest salt deposits like ever? And that's in the US. We don't use it here as much because it's harder to get to, but the land up there, when this is like from glaciers and all kinds of stuff that happened geologically, there's a massive salt deposit up there. So we get salt from mining it from the earth, unless it's sea salt that's been dried out from oceans receding. So that's how you can relate salt with an earth material. Like if you don't want to use dirt for something and you want to use salt instead, that's how to remember that it comes from inside the earth, like it's made there from water depositing, leaving, and then the earth like dries it up and turns it into that beautiful white crystal. Did you know that?
I think you told that story in another meetup.
Listen, Michigan, oh my gosh, I'm super impressed with Michigan.
Okay.
I've had a good time in Michigan.
You know what? I just know. Listen, so Jayme's my co-host, and she's supposed to be monitoring the chat, and she forgets because she for so long she was the host and I was the co-host. So listen, just so you know, I saw somebody said, I have a question. Feel free to put it in the chat. We will also open up the meetup when we're done with the lesson for you to ask your questions. And also thank you to everyone who are regular members or are helpful members, or I'm not sure what.
Helpful members that are answering questions.
Yeah, who answer questions for us. Thank you so much for doing that. I know there's a couple of you that chime in and answer people's questions, but we will have a question and answer period. So fear not, you'll be able to raise your hand when we're done with this. Okay, so let's see, talk about bay leaves. You know, like I said already, you can write on those, which is what I really like about them. So, and you can just write something to conjure up your desires. So I like bay leaves because I like to write things like that. I don't know. There's something about the process of writing it and then having it there, the word that I see or the symbol that I see. Garlic, we talked about garlic. You can, you know, for protection, you could put it in an amulet, carry it in your pocket, put it in your car, put it under your kid's pillow, use it in a sack, carry it in your pocket. Let's see what health spells. It has a lot of magical properties for medicinal purposes, like in digestion and respiratory. So you were doing a health spell for somebody that was sick, you could use garlic. Might be a good one for you to use.
And there is powder if you guys don't want to carry around the super awesome smell of actual garlic. There is a powder that you can use.
Listen, if you leave it in its little things, if you don't crack it, if you don't take the skins off of it, it doesn't smell. And I love garlic, but I don't want to smell it on people.
Listen, I love you to death, but I did this. You guys may remember, I was in the Navy, okay? And as a female in the Navy, there was a lot of unwanted attention. And I carried a thing of garlic with me, hoping that it would mimic the BO smell. And it does, but it mimics it near your lower area, which I'm not really sure if I wanted to be known for that or just that I didn't want the advances of people. So I switched from carrying garlic in my pocket that was raw to just not wearing deodorant. And that actually helped a lot more. So I could have gone to powder. I just didn't. So there's an idea. That's 15 years ago or something. I don't know how long ago.
Why does garlic smell and onion smell like BO? Anyway, that's
what seeps out of us. This is what
That's for
happens.
another meetup, not this one.
Replace the garlic with rose petals. Would be better.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Okay, for you.
You just can't. She didn't know that. This is the first time she's heard that story.
Well, I knew about the unwanted attention because my daughter's
Yeah.
beautiful. She's gorgeous, and
No shame.
she's like, you know, she's got such a great personality. She's got super bright blue eyes. She's pretty, and
Thank you,
know,
I get it from
mean,
you.
I mean, you know, I made her, so I take some credit for it. But I can see where a woman that looks like she did would
On
get
a
a lot
ship.
of on a ship with 5,000 Marines or whatever it
I mean,
was.
okay, well, that was 2,000 Marines, 2,000 Navy. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
But
okay.
there's just not a lot of women. So, you know, when you've been out to sea for 4 months, they don't really care what's going on with you.
But it's really bad when you look good. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. But it's, you know. Okay, to get back to the lesson. All right, you guys. Okay. Homework exercise number 1 for this week. All right. Everybody's writing in the journals, right? Everything you're doing, all the research you're doing.
You'll
Hope
be
you're
so
writing in your
happy
book of
that
shadows,
you did.
in your
Yeah.
book of shadows or your magical journal or whatever you want to call the notebook that we started when we started this class. So this week, what I want you to do is go into your kitchen and look for things that you could potentially use in spells, some of the spices we talked about, or whatever you have in your kitchen cupboards or your kitchen, not even in your cupboards. It might be something else. It could be oranges or apples
Ooh, the apple.
or lemons. It could be something like that. So things that come from the earth, and look, go in your kitchen, look around and see what you have. Think about that you're going to create a spell and you need to find some things, and you're not going to go out and buy anything. You're going to use what you have. Go in there and look for stuff, and then find the magical correspondences or what those things relate to, and write those in your journal. Just whatever you have on hand. You might use that at some point in time. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to move on to candles. So you may or may not have heard, first of all, a warning about buying things online. You guys, I have learned
Buying stuff online. Oh boy.
I have really learned some hard lessons about buying stuff online. You know, like Amazon. I love Amazon, but I swear to the goddesses, you cannot tell the size of things. So check this out. So this is a candle, right? And it's like the thickness of a pen. Can you all see that right there?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't remember what I paid for these, but I'll tell you something. To find a little candle holder that little tiny thing will sit in, no, there's just no candle holders. So I know you can do different things and make them, but it just really annoyed me. Like I bought this set of candles that have all these different colors because I was like, oh, I want that, I need that. And, because I want different colors for different spells, right? So I go out and I buy these candles, and then I get them like, I was so disappointed. Like, they're so tiny. Jamie's like, well, at least you won't have to sit there while they burn down for a long time.
And there's a purpose to them being that small. With spell candles that you want to meditate or repeat your mantra while the spell is going, a candle that small is helpful because it only lasts about 30 to 45 minutes. You're not waiting for like a pillar candle to melt down. So they're designed to burn a little faster, but what she didn't show you guys is just how cheaply they're made.
Yeah, so like this guy here, he's like hollow. He
Yeah.
looks hollow or
They're
something.
very,
So anyway, just
Quality.
be aware, maybe read the reviews. If you get something like this and you're unhappy with it, write a review for other people so that they know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't take out my measuring stick and go like, how big is that candle? What's the circumference of it? I don't do that. I just look at the picture and go like, oh yeah, that looks like a good one. No, not so cool.
Oh,
Okay.
Pictures be deceiving. I love that.
What?
I'm sorry, I was making fun of you. Pictures being deceiving.
Oh my God.
They do that.
I
on
can't
purpose.
even tell you.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about candles, witches, The only candle you'll ever need is white, because white can be substituted for anything. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise, or read it. If you read it somewhere else, I say no to that. So get yourself, go find some white taper candles. I bought these because I don't want to sit there for an hour while a white taper candle burns down. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I don't have that kind of patience. So white candles, but there are, of course, color correspondences. And if you want to get candles and you happen to come across them, like in a thrift, we look in thrift stores all the time for candles. You can get them certain times of years, certain times of the year. Candles are on sale, like after Christmas. Really easy to get red candles. You know, if I got them cheap, I would stock up on them, or white ones. So whenever you can get them inexpensively, do that. But get yourself some candles. You know, just as a generally speaking, for money and health spells, green, yellow, and golden. For love spells, pink and red. For banishing spells, black. But again, you only need one. You don't have to go out and buy special candles. So just so you know. Okay, so here's exercise number 2. This week, take an inventory of the candles that you have, noting the colors. Look up and record in your book of shadows or journal the magical properties associated with each. So we probably already know black is the banishing, you know, because black is like, be gone. I disappear.
Yeah. Also protection. I can't help but throw that in because
that's true. That's true.
You may feel it's a good time to mention maybe that if you have color associations that you feel more strongly that color represents something else for you, go with that, because your energy and how you feel about that thing is more powerful than what most people follow as a general rule, right? And rule is like the most loosely word for guideline or something. But if
we have one rule, we do what we want.
Yes.
Basically, we pick and choose what, as
feels
solitary
right.
witches, we pick and choose the things that feel right to us, that resonate with us. And as new witches, if you're not going to join a coven, you're not going to be Wiccan, that's going to be your path too, whether you realize it or not. I think you'll come to a place where you're like, yeah, that just doesn't
it doesn't resonate.
It doesn't resonate with
and when
me,
it doesn't,
so,
leave it, you know.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about trying to be anybody else. Take on what they're taking on. Even for us, like, we hope to give you guys information that helps you make a better decision for yourself, but in no way are we being like, do this is the way it's done, you have to, blah blah blah. No.
And if I ever say anything that sounds like that, that's just the mother in me.
She's the cosmic parent.
I am the cosmic parent. I'm the 33, the cosmic parent. I can't help myself. Sometimes I forget I'm not the boss
of everybody. Right. Yeah.
So seriously, if I ever come across that, please just, you know,
she's not the boss of you, and you can do what you want.
Okay. So if you have candles, take an inventory, write them down in your journal. What do you have? What colors do you have? And what do those relate to? Again, we are going to be building a catalog of resources to eventually cast spells. That's the purpose of what we're doing now, witches.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I heard that right. You're taking the inventory of the things they have now in their house so that later we can look back and say, find an element that matches this purpose so you can use it in the spell. Exactly. Be it a candle, an herb, a stone, a rock from outside.
Exactly.
Dirt from your garden.
So this, you know, the reason you want to record this information is because when you go to do a spell, you don't want to have to look up every single thing. So building this information in your book of shadows and starting to accumulate it will help you later on, because this is going to be a long journey, I hope, for all of you. Okay. So I'm going to go through color correspondences. And again, I'll try to make it quickly. Otherwise, it'll just kind of be boring. But colors, you know, colors do relate to a lot of colors relate back to our chakras. You probably have heard about chakras, which are the energy centers in your body. Starting with the base or the root chakra, which is red, which is at the base of your spine, where you sit. Yeah, way down low.
Your lady parts.
We'll talk.
The opening of your lady parts, your hips.
Okay. So red relates to the base of root chakra, located at the base of the spine. And red is associated with motivation, passion, passionate love, courage, blood, the masculine, determination, and warmth. And so when you think about blood and courage and I mean, if you visualize that, I can see where red would be related to all of those things, because red is the fire in you. You know, red is associated with the fire element. So it's the fire inside of you, the motivation, the passion, the courage. So again, going back to the beginning of this, where we talked about trying to think intuitively about some of these things instead of trying to memorize. And I'm saying this as much for myself as I am for anybody else who's listening right now, because I have a tendency to want to memorize information, and it's exhausting, you know, and I'm old now. So, you know, the memory is just not there like it was once upon a time.
I love that. And I'm old. So I don't got time for that shit.
Well, you know, there's like so much information, and it just kind of, it's like a bathtub, you know, after you get so much information, it just kind of starts flowing out. Okay, so that was red. Pink is sometimes associated with the heart chakra, although the heart chakra is actually green, which I find odd, but anyway. So pink, stress relief, promotes friendship, romantic love, platonic love, self-love. So all those things around, when you just see pink, I mean, I don't know. I have a shirt that's got love in pink. I think love when I see pink. It's very feminine and soft and girly, and that just reminds me of love and friendship.
I'm gonna go real naughty here. Real naughty. It's the inside of Our Lady lips. So like, it's all the love and like passion is different, but it's where creation happens for love, for connection, you know, the love between parent and child, or anything that you love. That's why it's more pink than it's red, which is the passion and I'll fight and die for you. Although, I mean, you will fight and die for your kids most likely, but that's where my color coordination comes in. It's not super sexy. It's very blunt and kind of crass, but
well, actually, no. Okay, so
it can be lips too, though.
Wait,
soft, sensual love,
kissing,
love, pink.
Okay, so
find what pink means to you.
So this is taking me back to the beginning of this, where it's like the goddess, you know. So the goddess has been suppressed for like 7,000 years. They like wiped out the goddess, made her irrelevant, in the worship of the goddess.
Yeah.
And when they did that, when they said, oh, no more goddess worship, it's all about this male deity who managed to create everything without a female deity. So therefore, at that point in time, what happened was, you know, women just like, we didn't mean anything. And you can see that through history. And only in the last, we just got the right to vote in the last 100-something years. I mean, oh my God, don't get me started. I'm going to get on my soapbox.
Well, I'm wondering how that related to pink.
Well, because pink, and we were talking about lady parts and stuff. It's like, this is where the world comes from.
I know. Right?
Without us, without our lady parts, what we bring life to the world.
We are the world.
We are life.
We are.
Without us, the world ends. So that's why I thought that. Okay. Orange. Related to the sacral chakra, which is the lower abdomen, positive energy, optimism, and creativity. And again, color correspondences. Yellow or golden, success, optimism, wealth, happiness, protection, related to the solar plexus, which is the middle of the abdomen. Green, the heart chakra. Health, rest, relaxation, truth, love, and money. Blue, communication. This is the throat chakra. So communication, peace, angelic influences. Dark blue or indigo. This is the third eye chakra, which is between your eyebrows. Awareness, vision, and deep understanding. Purple, which is the crown chakra, top of your head. Psychic abilities, spiritual growth, dreams. Black or gray, protection or banishing, and white and transparency, or white or transparent, mental clarity, peace, and purity. Again, I hope you didn't scribble those down, because I put them all in the notes Excuse me.
Take a drink.
All right, forgive me. Okay, so. All right.
Did you do purple?
Did I say purple? I said psychic ability, spiritual
Okay, yeah.
growth, and
Crown
dreams. Yes,
chakra.
crown chakra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Okay. So your final exercise for this week is to all right, I was going to explain this.
Okay.
So this is practice, you guys. So you have what I've given you tonight is color correspondences, and you can virtually go through your house. Please don't run out and buy anything. I don't have a lot of things in my house, but I sew. So I went into my little sewing room and I got a piece of green, I forgot what this is called, but whatever. But I'm going to use this I'm planning to use this in a money spell or a prosperity spell. And I'm going to write on it. So this is just a piece of green, I forget what it's called now, basting cloth or something like that. I've got some red ribbon to use. So to represent the color red and fire and passion, love. And then I've got some black ribbon. So using the things that you already have in your house, start to think about, I was going to go through the exercise you went with me when I was going to do the spell for the psychic spell, where you were like, you sit down and think about a spell that you want to do. What is it related to? Is it protection? Is it love? Is it health? When you think about that, sit down with a piece of paper. You're not going to do the spell. What you're doing is you're gathering information at this point. And this is an exercise. This is practice for you, because at some point in time, you're going to want to create a spell for real. And you're going to need to be able to think through these things. You can look up what other people do and get the ingredients. You can do that. That's an easy way to do it. But personally, I want to know. I want to choose. And I also want to pick things that I have around my house. So a month or so ago, my daughter was like, okay, do you want to explain it? Because you might explain it better.
No, I love your job that you're doing right now.
All right. So what she did was she's like, okay, what kind of I wanted to do a spell. I decided I want to do a spell to increase my psychic abilities. Oh, it was remember my dreams, increase my psychic abilities, right? Mm-hmm. So we sat down and she's like, okay, so word association, what things come to mind? What colors come to mind? When you think of psychic or you think of dreams, what do you think of? And I was like, okay, so blue and I can't remember. I ended up with blue and purple. Yeah. I ended up with like 7 things that were associated with, in my mind, that I associated with dreams and psychic abilities. And so then I went around my house looking for those things, picking things that matched those. Color. I got a stone that I had that was blue. I don't remember what all I put in.
Did you not journal this? Oh, see?
Well, I didn't refer.
Perfect example of why we journal things.
Actually, I'm embarrassed to admit I did not journal it.
No. It was a very powerful, moving thing when we got done with it, because as she went through her house to gather things that might represent her intention, because that's really all it was. It didn't have to be associated with the thing, but it represented her intention and made her think of dreaming. So something that was like soft and pillowy, because of dreaming happens on a pillow. And when she gathered all these things, and then the candle, it felt important for her to bring a candle. And so as she gathered this, she came back to me and she wanted to explain to me why she brought each item. And it telling me was wonderful, but it didn't matter because I wasn't going to validate whether or not she was right. She just was like, this seems good. And I was like, if this seems good to you, you chose that intuitively. Like, these are your things. So then we actually started a spell with her stuff, because each thing held a representation or an energy that she wanted to bring into her life. And guess what? Now she dreams all the time. She's like, oh my God, I call her every morning. I'm like, how was your night? What happened? She's like, I had the craziest dream. Because
listen, I'm dreaming all night long.
Well, what she used to say is, I wish I could remember my dreams. I just don't. I don't know if I dream. If I do, I don't remember them. I'm like, well, we all dream. It's just recall, right? It's like waking up and knowing that you've had the dream, or you're not jumping into something else before you erase what you were doing in your head. So since then, that was powerful enough for her to move forward and start remembering her dreams. And that was all it took. So we didn't read it in a book. We didn't go online and look for anything. We gathered things that intuitively aligned with what her intention was, we created our own little spell around it, which was, just light the candles, say the things, bring stuff together, set an intention, and then keep all the stuff together to know, like, this is what I'm working on right now.
Yep. When I looked at that thing, and actually it was a little blue heart, stone heart that I had. When I looked at that thing, that was my reminder of the spell that I did.
Yeah.
So that's your exercise. You're not going to do a spell, but you're going to practice getting things together for a spell. So if you're going to do a love spell, whatever that might be, you might find something, whatever comes to mind for you when you think about a love spell, a money spell, an abundance spell, whatever. Gather those things up and then write down what. I didn't. She called me on it. I'm guilty. Damn it. This is why I should have journaled that, because then I could have referred back to it, because it was really that experience of doing that was just like, damn. And I didn't go out and buy a single thing. Everything that I put together in that spell that night was just things that I had around the house. So that's what I would like you guys to do as your third and final exercise for this week. And if you're not aware, or if you don't get it yet, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be doing some spells. So start thinking about what kind of a spell what do you want to bring into your life? Is there something you want to do? You may not have anything. Maybe your life is totally awesome and you don't need a thing in your life, but
what about take away from your life? What would you like to get rid of?
Okay, that could be that. It could
So
be a
it's
vanishing
adding
spell.
balance, right? Well, and not just vanishing, but like less of. Maybe it's your negative self-talk. Maybe you don't want to look in the mirror every day and be like, I hate this body that I'm in. Maybe, so that would be like, you could bring in more self-love, or you could take away self-doubt. There's two ways to look at it as far as how you want to change something in your life right now. And whatever it is should align with like you living a higher purpose life, an elevation of your soul's purpose here on earth. So hopefully it aligns with that. And I don't want you guys for a second to think that money is selfish or wrong or greedy or anything. We need money to enjoy life and have experiences. So if everybody here is like, damn it, I want $1 million. Yes. Then ask for $1 million. Like, let's go after money that allows experiences. There's no like the scarcity mindset thing and thinking that there's not enough for everybody. That's just something that we're raised with, with capitalism or whatever. I don't know all those fancy words with financial shit because I don't believe in them. I'm like, money's everywhere. All you gotta do is ask for it.
It's just energy.
It's just energy. It's an exchange of energy. So whatever it is that you're looking to help you get to your highest purpose, whatever you want to start with, collect things that mean that for you. So if it is something like wealth, grab wealthy feeling materials in your house. Maybe you have like really luxury velvet, something, whatever feels luxurious to you that you have, something that you bought that maybe you spent a lot of money on. And you're like, this is a really big present for myself. Or if it's self-love, anything that feels like self-love, get some sexy lingerie out that maybe you haven't worn. You're like, I'll wear this when I lose 20 pounds or something.
When I did a love thing for myself, I took a little ribbon. You know how they have the little ribbons tied on the front of the panties? I took that off and put it in my spell thing. But I wanted to show you that you don't have to go out and purchase crystals, although I love crystals, but my point of this meetup tonight is to tell you that everything that you have is around you right now. You just have to go out and look for it. Go out in your yard and look at the weeds. What's in your yard in terms of plants and stuff like that. All of those plants have properties, but I have a big thing about love. So this is a rock that I found. It's kind of the shape of a heart. I'm trying to hold it up so you guys can see it, but I love this rock. I keep it with all my stones. And then this girl gave me this shell that she found on the beach that's got a K on it. And I was like, oh, that's my stone. And then I just found this little, I don't even know what this is, but I just thought it was the coolest thing. So you don't have to go buy crystals. Please don't go buy anything. Use what you have. Be resourceful. See what you can do with it. And then next week, we're going to talk about the stuff we can go out and buy and spend some money on.
Thank you for joining us for week 5, witches. We hope to see you again next week for
week 6 of the Beginner Witch series.